Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for ICONversations. The ICON program is designed to celebrate our company's top producers. These agents have not only exceeded capping status, but have also reached exceptional milestones, earning them various stock grants and the opportunity to earn back their paid company dollar. Today from Florida, we have John Kantorski. From British Columbia, we have Phil Gadd. From Texas, we have Brant Phillips. From California, we have Suzanne Peters. And our amazing moderator today from Ohio is TJ Gaussman. TJ, take it away.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, excited to be on the stage with amazing agents, and thanks for everybody for taking some time to listen. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Let's get to know the panelists a little bit. I'm going to start with Suzanne, if that works. Suzanne, you're in California. Share with me a little bit about who you are, what your business looks like. Give us a 1-2 minute elevator pitch.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me on here. So I am a wife of a CAL FIRE firefighter. I am a mom of a 14-year-old boy and a 4-year-old daughter, and various animals on our 10-acre property that we have. And I am venturing into my 4th year in real estate. It has been such a fun journey. I was an entrepreneur prior to this, so I feel like I did a lot of my learning and mental growth before this. And so I was really blessed to hit the ground running. But I guess my expertise is really learning how to win in a cold market, because I live where I live. I'm not from, and I don't know anybody. So, I mean, I don't have a sphere of influence. I'm originally from Nebraska. So here in California, I moved to where I'm at literally like 2 months before COVID hit. And then we were locked away. So my approach to business and to real estate has really been just kind of unconventional from what probably someone would teach a new agent. But you know what? It's working for me. I've been tripling my business year after year. And I'm on pace to even exceed my 57 transactions I did last year. So
that's awesome. We're going to dig into that, Suzanne. I think it's always good to hear that there's not one way to do this job. That's one of the things that makes this career so cool. Hey, Phil, you're up in British Columbia. Give us a little bit about you and your business, how long you've been in the game, and what things look like up in your market. You there, Phil? You're on mute. Okay, we're going to jump over.
Yeah.
There you are, Phil.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, Phil Gadd, part of the First Tracks Real Estate Group, which is a small little team with myself and my wife, Claire. We have 3 beautiful girls. I've been in the film industry in the UK and ran a successful, profitable restaurant for 15 years. Essentially, we help people buy and sell lifestyle real estate in Fernie, BC, which is a small little mountain town in the Canadian Rockies. Predominantly single-family homes, ski properties, lake properties. My business essentially is built around local expertise, clear strategy, and removing the friction from what can be a complicated process. And we work a lot with out-of-area buyers and sellers. I've been in the business 8 years, 7 with EXP. This is 2nd year Icon. We had our best year ever last year. In a tiny market, we did 43 transactions and over 500,000 GCI. Market right now in Fernie, it's a little constrained, to be honest. It's kind of leveled out over some sort of crazy years of growth. And yeah, I've been in the business long enough to see some interesting markets here, COVID included. But we're kind of getting back to a more normal market. And yeah, we work heavily with AI systems to provide clarity, combining our deep local knowledge, to basically essentially help our clients.
That's awesome, Phil. And I want to dig in a little bit later to systems. I know that's a big part of your process, and we're going to talk through that a little bit. Let's jump over to John. John, I want to clarify here. I see Florida on the screen, but I also saw Maryland when I was doing some digging. So tell us about you, where you're at, what your market looks like, how long you've been in business.
I wish I were in Florida, but I'm stuck in cold and wintry Maryland.
Okay, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah. In Maryland, also licensed in Pennsylvania and Delaware. It's pretty tight confines here in the East Coast. So in 45 minutes, I can be in 3 states. So have a team of 2 agents and 2 admins. Been in business since 2008. Our team generally does. I do about 50 to 60 transactions a year. I've been with EXP for this would be my 5th year. Team as a whole, we do like 80 to 90, strictly by referral. So for me, the local market here has been pretty steady over the last couple of years. We're in a government area, so there's a good influx of people, and we're also a really good investment area. I've helped a number of investors all over the country in the networks I'm in come and buy rental properties here because the prices are advantageous to making good cash flow there.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to talk a little bit about the investment side of your business. I think that'll be interesting for people. Did Brent make it on? Let's see if he's on here.
He sure did.
He did. Okay, awesome. Hey, Brent, you're in Texas. We're just doing kind of our 2-minute elevator pitch. If you can tell us who you are, how long you're in the business, and what's the market looking like where you're at right now. I think you're on mute. Let's see if we can get him going. Okay. Brent, we're going to jump back to you. If you find your mic, let us know and we'll get you in here because I want to hear from you. Okay, so I'm going to kind of do roundtable if that's okay. It tends to work the best way. So since I started with Suzanne, let's talk to John. John, let me ask, what is the one thing about you that helps you to become a top producer, helps to make you an icon? What's your one thing?
For me, I feel like over the last, since 2008, so what's 18 years of doing it, it's been the consistency of doing the small things every day. Like I said, we work strictly by referral. We kind of follow the Buffini and Company model, which I'm sure a lot of people know about, of calls, notes, pop-bys, keeping in touch with your sphere. So consistently doing that every day, getting up and writing 2 to 5 notes, personal notes to my database, keeping in touch with them. We're doing a Super Bowl pizza giveaway this Sunday, which is giving us a great reason to make phone calls. So being consistent in that communication and showing you care to your people has really kept me top of mind and kept us going all these years.
Super important. Yeah, that consistency is everything, right? Phil, talk to me. I know that you are a systems guy. Talk to me about your systems, how those were designed, and how that affects your business on a daily basis.
Yeah, good question. So, yeah, we use. I'm sure most people do use a CRM, but Follow Up Boss is a big part of our business. It's like the engine that runs everything, and it's just a very small team. It's myself, my wife, and we brought on an ISA about a year ago because I was just not being able to keep up with the calls. And so our system, our big, the way we get a lot of leads, we've worked with a company in Toronto for about the last 4 years on Google Ads. No one's really doing Google Ads in our market, so we've kind of dominated that space for a number of years, which gives us amazing return on investment for what we spend. But yeah, so the systems, we built a lot of AI that helps us follow up with the leads come in. But we have very strong systems within Follow Up Boss that when leads do come in, they're kind of filtered down through a pipeline, and they get many touches from either myself or the ISA and my wife. Like John was just saying, though, one of the biggest things is consistency, doing all these things and doing the little things very, very well and consistently, even when you don't want to do them. And if anyone, I got recommended a book that I'm currently reading. It's called, oh my God, I've had a brain fart. It'll come to me. Unreasonable Hospitality. If you ever want a good book to get you inspired about how you should deliver to your clients, read that book. It's written by Will Guardia, I think he's pronounced his surname. He 11 Madison Park, the fine dining restaurant, from a 2-star restaurant to a 3-star Michelin. And it's just his journey and how he treats his customers, his clients. It's a fascinating read.
Awesome.
Phil,
oh, go ahead. You there, Brant?
It's John. Phil, I gave that book to both of my team members and all of my team members, and it's like it's a foundational book for us. I actually heard Will Guidara speak this past September at a conference, and between that and the book The Go-Giver, those are two they kind of go hand in hand, but fantastic book, and highly recommend it for anybody who wants to learn how to really serve their people.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's great. I'd love to hear him speak, actually. Yeah, after reading it.
Okay, I'm going to put both
I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Brant. Tell us about you, Bob.
Man, I apologize. My wife was like, called an audible on me today. I had a closing that popped up, and then my wife's like, I need you to run, one of the kids to school for this and that. So, you just want me to give a general introduction about myself?
Yeah, if you don't mind, just tell us about you, how long you've been in the business, and what's your market like in Texas?
Yep. So, Brant Phillips, I've been in real estate for 18 years. Started out my first two, I came into real estate as an investor and buying a bunch of rental properties and things like that, 2007, 2008, and 2009 is when I became licensed. But I'll be honest, I didn't use my license for many, many years because I had a friend who had his license and I was blowing and going, buying investment property. And that's my main thing. We've done about 500 plus single family deals, and we've bought mobile home parks, RV parks, land development deals. So that's always been my focus. But whenever I met my sponsors, his name was Connor Steinbrook, and I saw the EXP business model, I was like, I'm going to get into this. I'm going to join this team. So funny story, my license was actually deactivated because I had a full-time agent on staff at that point in time. So I reactivated my license, and I've been with EXP for 7-8 years now. But that is my focus: investment, property, real estate, buying, fixing, flipping. We have rentals and various things like that. But we do a few more listings now, or I refer them out now that the market shifted in the last few years, where some of our listings are more profitable than some of our flips. So we just kind of do what makes most sense. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
Yeah, you sound great. And yeah, that's a great point, right? Go where the money's working. Suzanne, I want to jump to you. I think that you had spoken about, you came into a market knowing no one. And now you're on the Icon stage within 4 years. Talk about that journey. Like, how did you do it? And what can we kind of glean off of that for agents that are sitting here that maybe aren't where they want to be just yet?
Yeah. So again, people will talk about, putting in 10,000 hours, and I had done quite a few other businesses that just didn't give me the amount of results that I knew I could. I mean, I had been speaking and, kind of looking to, a $30,000 a month in income for years. I mean, I was just, I would say it all the time, but I got into real estate, and there's a couple other things that I made kind of as a rule of thumb for myself. I had been in the financial services industry about 15 years prior. So I had been through cold calling, been through door knocking, and I was 100% not going to do it in real estate. So I had some absolutely will not do's on my list. And so I'm a no excuse kind of person. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to tell myself I can't do these things, what else am I willing to do? And I had to find a way to win. And I'm sorry, that's my 4-year-old in the back playing. But I got connected. EXP gives every agent the ability to connect with Opcity, and that is referrals that are pay at closing through realtor.com. I don't know why it's not heavily broadcasted. My sister, who's also an Icon agent, in Nebraska. She's the one that told me about it. Honestly, I signed up with Opcity and I went, balls to the wall with every lead I could get. And I serviced them to the best of my ability. And like my first year, I closed 19 deals. Fortunately, I was able to get some personal referrals from some of those leads that I had received. And after that, it kind of has spiraled. I mean, I am connected with a lot of pay at closings, and I'm their top closer for a lot of them. Redfin, there's a company called Clever that gives you listings. But I also do Google ads. So, I mean, I do have people that contact me directly now. I do now have, I've closed over 100 deals in my first 3 years. So I do now have referrals coming in, things like that. But again, it's just a no excuse. I mean, you have to know what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. But then outside of those parameters, what are you willing to do? And for me, the pay at closings have really worked very, very well, because I know that I can not only close them, but I will have referrals for life after that.
Okay, I love this, and I'm just going to jump in for 2 seconds. There is people sitting in this audience right now that have tried Opcity and they say the leads suck. There's people that have tried Realtor and say the leads suck. The fact is, every lead sucks and every lead's awesome, and it's all about how you handle them. And sometimes we just got to get out of our own way. And I love the fact that you work those leads hard, and guess what? They didn't suck. Awesome. Okay, cool. John, I'm going to jump over to you. We're just going to go round table. It works best. I want to ask a question about a major obstacle. So you've been in the game for 18 years. Think of a major obstacle, be it personal or professional, that you've had to overcome and what you learned from that. Is there anything that pops into your mind?
Yeah, actually. So at one point in time, we had I had 8 people on my team, and like I had said at the beginning, we pretty strictly follow kind of the Buffini and Company system. So when I bring agents on, we have pretty detailed conversations about how that works and how that looks, and if they're bought in, because we're, for better or for worse, we're disciples of that way of life. So I had a few team members who, just really weren't bought into it, but I kept holding out that I could, convert these sinners, as you might say. But for me, it was hard because I kept people on longer than I had to, because a couple of them were friends who got into real estate, and they got into real estate back at a time when, you put your sign in the front yard and you have 17 offers. And, those times went away a couple of years ago, and they didn't know about how to talk about a price reduction with people. So for me, it was really realizing I had to pull off the Band-Aid and do what's best for them too, because it wasn't working for both of us, for them not wanting to do the activities that I, want them to do, because they didn't believe in it. So for me, it taught me that I need to work with people who I know want to work the same way I do. And if you want to cold call 50 people a day, that's great. People make a lot of money that way. That's good. I can't do it. And the people I want on my team working with me are only ones who want to do business exactly the way I do. And if you don't, I've met a half dozen agents this year to talk about joining the team. And I give each of those agents a copy of the book, The Go-Giver, that I mentioned earlier. And I say, read this book, and if it resonates with you, give me a call back. If it doesn't, then we probably don't have a connection to move forward. And they don't call me back, then it all works out for both of us. So realizing that I don't want to work with everybody and manage a bunch of different people who want to do business different ways than me, and just want to work with people that have the same mindset I do.
I love that. Yeah. Setting standards, holding standards, and a bad fit's not just a bad fit for one side, right? Let them go, find somebody that fits. Phil, I'm going to ask this question to everybody, if that's cool. Can you think of a major obstacle professionally, personally, that you had to break through? Kind of talk about that and what you learned.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There were some pretty rough times running the restaurant where we almost went bankrupt and learned and lost a lot. So that was the first time I got coaching, and that basically saved the business, turned it right around. So yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years ago in real estate. I was kind of not really getting across the plateau. So I got some coaching again, and that took me to the next level. For like 2 years, I was stuck in a kind of the 26 to 28 transactions. And then, we implemented everything we learned from the coaching. And I think that was the first year we icon 36, 43 transactions last year. So yeah, coaching has been when I need to get out of a situation where I can't figure it out myself, then I typically turn to coaching. Yeah.
I love that. A big part of that is putting down the ego and saying, I need help. I think that talks a lot about who you are and your humility. That's great. Hey, Brant, I've got the same question. Is there anything that pops into your mind personally, professionally, that you've had to overcome? You've been in the game a while.
Daily, weekly, monthly, which kind of response?
Whatever fits the best.
Yeah. So, well, as I see myself not as an agent, not as an investor, but just, an entrepreneur and a real estate entrepreneur. And, kind of like build on what Phil was saying, is like the pain is the greatest teacher. And a lot of times that comes through financial challenges. And when I first started, my first year investing was 2007, where, homeless people could buy investment property. And it was very easy. And then 2000 changed everything. And I was like, I can't do this anymore, was my first thought, because that's what the banks were telling me. I saw other people leaving because they couldn't buy property. I'm like, well, real estate's on sale. So that really changed my life, because what I was dealt with was like, all right, this is what is happening. But a lot of people they stop there like, okay, this happened, I can't do anything about it. And then I just like, no, how can we navigate through this? How can I continue to do deals? And that's why I learned about partnering and raising capital. So, the problem of the day or the month or the quarter or the market or whatever is different. Like, problems come in all shapes and sizes. Did
you cut out there, Brent? I think so.
They're always fun. Like, there's all solution. It's just that just having the mind.
Brant, we've got a bad connection, man. We were going pretty good, then it kind of jumped out. So I'm going to move off, and we'll come back to you if that's all right.
So can I just add something?
Can you hear me now?
Brant was saying?
Yeah, please.
It's a shame Brant cut out, because you were saying some really interesting stuff there, Brant. But yeah, I think you really do learn from your pain, and I think all of us stood on this stage are probably here because of our grit and perseverance. I think they're two qualities that any successful icon entrepreneur has, because like when you are down and it's painful, you find a way out of it.
Really well said. Yeah, and I can even speak to me when I got into real estate. I've been in for 7 years now. I had battled addiction just horribly. It completely wrecked my life, and this was kind of like a hope and a dream after I had a couple years clean and sober. And without that pain, there's no way I give my all, because I had never given my all. Just wasn't in my nature. I wasn't a good version of myself. And with that pain, it helped me, because I knew what real pain was. Like, working hard didn't feel like pain anymore. And sometimes you just got to do something hard, man.
Yeah.
Suzanne, can I ask you, I'm going to ask the same question because I think it's that valuable. Professionally, personally, is there any major obstacle that you can think of in business or life that really drove you to the next level?
Yeah. As they were saying, pain is definitely one of the best teachers for sure. But I think for me, I'll always talk about just being mentally tough, and and it doesn't equate just to obviously real estate, but in life, you have to be resilient in your mind before you can be resilient in your actions, because, you know, the whole fight or flight thing is so real for people, where I know what it's like, not in real estate, but in other businesses, to feel like you're not making progress. And if your mind isn't in the right place, you're probably going to go numb, and you're probably not going to take any action because you actually don't believe it's going to impact it. And I've been there in business where I was facing, you know, losing, basically becoming homeless. And I had to make a decision, you know, to wallow in, you know, where I was at, or just take massive action. And that is, you know, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, was to really make sure that I control my mind. I control my thoughts. Like, we can't control the things around us, but you can control what's going on in between your two ears. And if you can silence the negativity, silence all the other voices, it's so much easier to take action when you have the right perspective, when you have the right mindset. And again, when you're writing the narrative, not somebody else.
Suzanne, let's stay there for a minute. Let's talk about mindset. So, you know, we hear so much negativity, social media, a lot of it's a disaster. So, what can people do? Real estate agents, human beings, I don't care. What can they do to get their mindset right so that we don't fall into the self-pity that completely makes our life not feel good?
Yeah, I think number one is sometimes you have to just turn everything off. I mean, you know, not going super spiritual, but I was raised a Christian, and there was a point in my life where I had to literally, and I'm not even kidding you, I would put either, you know, different books, Think and Grow Rich, or, you know, praise and worship music. And I would literally have it going 24/7 in my house to drown out every other thought that was trying to be in my mind. And I know that sounds extreme, but we've all been there. We've all, you know, if we admit it, we've all needed something to that extreme. It's like, if you want to go somewhere, you know, big in your life, I mean, you're going to have to do something big sometimes. And there was a time where I had to literally turn everything off. I mean, I don't participate on social media much, because, like you said, there's a lot of negativity. I don't use a lot of the, you know, the technology and things like that. I know this sounds weird, but I don't go to my MLS meetings, because I can't tell you how many times I get a newsletter and they're talking about how bad the economy is. And I'm just confused, because I'm like, really? I'm a brand new agent, and I did 19 transactions my first year, 36 my second, and I just did 57. Like, I don't want to listen to that it's a bad economy, because I don't want it to pervert what I know to be true, that I am in control of my business, not an economy, not anything else. If I work hard, the production and the results will be there. So I think you have to be radical in a way about guarding your gates, and protecting what you're listening to, who you're around. And if they're not speaking in the direction that you're wanting to go, I would say, you know, you might have to bow out for a little bit.
Love that. Phil, talk about how you protect your mindset.
Yeah, I love what Susan just said about, you know, what is true. I mean, sometimes I find I've been naively ignorant purposefully to get me to places that otherwise I wouldn't have made decisions to get to, because you just don't, either you don't listen to what everyone else is saying, and you just pig-headedly going to get to where you want to go to, no matter what you hear or what people are saying, you know, the world conditions are. So I don't know, for example, like when we emigrated to Canada, like 18 years ago, I had 2 small kids under 2, and we started a restaurant. Everyone was saying, "You're crazy." And I'm like, I guess we didn't listen to them. We just knew what we knew to be true. And we just halved our own course.
Love that. John, what about you? Do you find mindset is something that you constantly kind of have to do check-ins on?
In this business, you're constantly being assailed at, you know, by so many different people in the economy, and then, you know, lawsuits, you know, the realtor trade itself. You know, are you doing the right thing? You go on Facebook, and the saying that comparison is the thief of joy is never more true than being a realtor and going on Facebook and seeing other realtors listing houses, and you're wondering, why aren't I listing as many houses as that guy? So surrounding yourself with the right people, whether that's I have an accountability partner, which I think is key. We talk every week. We have similar businesses in terms of size, and we live in the same location. I think that's a key thing, to have somebody who you can commiserate with and challenge each other is huge. And then just finding your circle of people that kind of believe in the same things you do when it comes to business, faith, where you are in life. If you have kids, it's great to find other realtors who have kids, because that's a whole lot easier to commiserate with than somebody who's 24 and goes out every night and doesn't have to worry about the other things in life. So finding your tribe, finding your people, for me, has been a huge part of that. I have a networking breakfast every Wednesday with a bunch of realtors in my market, and we're all competitors, quote unquote. But when you work by referral, which is the way a lot of us do, you never really have that much competition. So you can look at them, and I do client events. The client event I'm doing this Sunday, we're giving away pizzas for the Super Bowl. I'm doing it with 2 other agents in my office, and we work together. What's funny is one of these agents I'm working with on Sunday, his client is the husband. My client is the wife. They're both divorced and remarried. So we both have a client that are married to each other, and they both come and get a pizza. The wife comes to me and gets a pizza, and the husband goes to the other guy and gets a pizza. And it's okay, because we don't see each other as competition. We see each other as working together to keep getting referrals from our own individual spheres.
That's great. And I think there's 3 things I think that are super important with mindset and just overall happiness. And these have just been learned because I've done a lot of work on myself, because I was a mess. Let's keep that in mind. So this isn't coming from a place of thinking anything better than anybody. It's just focus. So number 1 is humility. You got to realize that we're all just trying to figure out this thing called life, and there's nobody that's got it all figured out, and including you. And once I realized that, I'm a piece of sand on a beach. I don't have this self-importance. I don't find myself constantly feeling disrespected and all this nonsense that gets people feeling self-pity. Number 2, I would say, is gratitude. So I make a list every morning of things that I'm grateful for. And that just keeps me in the mindset of, look, it could be way worse, man. And I've got a lot going for me that I've got my health, I've got my daughter, I've got my wife, like the things that really matter. And real estate leads, frankly, aren't that high on that list, which helps me. And the third one is I assume the best intentions. So when I meet someone, I assume that they are giving me their best intentions. I don't assume the worst. And I think if you look for the worst, you're going to find it. When you assume everybody's trying to do their best, you give a lot more grace and you don't get angry. So those are just 3 things that kind of helped me that I thought might be worth noting. Let's talk about systems for a minute. So, John, you're in a referral-based business. I'm sure your database is on point, because it has to be. Can you talk about what systems in your business are really helping you right now?
Sure. The CRM we use is key. I will tell you, the best CRM in the world, the best in the world, hands down, is the one you're going to use every day. And it doesn't matter which one it is, as long as you're actually going to use it, whether it's a Google spreadsheet or whether we use Referral Maker, which is the Buffini system. We also use Lofty for any kind of online leads. I have some Google ads and this, that, and the other. We used to do Realtor.com stuff. We've kind of shied away from that. But the CRM, of course, is the key to that, is the main system we have. And then we have a number of systems kind of in place with our admin and such, like to Phil's point of unreasonable hospitality. We try to really focus on unexpected extras with our people. Like I always have a stack of Petco gift cards in my desk. And when I'm scrolling Facebook and see that TJ got a dog last week, I immediately see that. I grab a $10 Petco gift card out of my desk. I put it into a note card and say, welcome to the family. And I sign it with myself and my dog's name. So having all those touch points and having those things set up to be more automated. Like we use BizBox for our clients. Once we're past appraisal and inspections with a seller or a buyer, our admin sends out BizBox, which has our picture and names all over the boxes. It's $55 that is very well spent and is always appreciated. So having systems in place to have touch points throughout the process has been key to us in taking care of our people and giving them a wow experience to tell their friends about.
I love that. And that kind of marketing feels like it's friend to friend, right? Not realtor to friend. I love that.
Exactly.
Yep. Phil, you mentioned AI and systems. Can you talk about kind of workflow there, what you're using that we might be able to benefit from?
Sure. Same as John, like the CRM Follow-Up Boss is big for us, but I did an AI course for realtors about three years ago. It was with Phil Stringer. I believe he's done a few things for EXP, and that was really, and it was kind of right at the start when everything was. But from that, we've actually built our own sort of in-house things of, just because we're a small team, taking away the things that you need to do. You need to follow up. You need to, AI is really good at doing things that take a lot of time really quickly. So we set up and created systems within some of the large language models, whether it's ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, whatever. So from the first conversations, everything's going in and creating a file, I guess a digital file that we can easily pull from whatever it is that we need. And it has templates in there like creating CRM, executive summaries, creating emails for all types of different things. And it just saves us many, many hours.
And that's the goal, right? Efficiency. Systems are about your efficiency. That's great.
Yeah.
Suzanne, any systems that you're using right now that you're really finding tons of value in?
Oh, I was hoping you didn't ask me that question. Okay, so here we go. I recognize I am a unique breed of things. I suck at systems. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at. And systems, I've never been good at that. I have a CRM. I don't use it, to be honest with you. I'm really good at building relationships on point. I'm really good at recognizing people who will buy and really spending and honing in on them. I know I miss business. However, I'm okay with it because the way that I've built my business, I think yesterday alone, I got like 7 new leads. 7. So even if I miss somebody who was cold and I didn't follow up with them, I'm okay with that. Like I believe that there's enough to go around and I'm not a greedy person. I don't need to close every transaction. I don't need that. I have a 4-year-old daughter. I want to spend time with her. I homeschool her. I want to go on vacation when my firefighter husband, who, can be off on a fire for 3 to 4 weeks at a time. I want to be able to just pick up and go. So I don't want to work 24/7. With that being said, I read this book and I was trying to find it. I read it a while ago, but basically it was talking about, because I think we were trained to always like focus on, building up our weaknesses. Like, what are you not good at? Let's get better at that. And I read this book quite a while ago that actually said that is actually counterproductive to try to strengthen your weaknesses, because you might work on your weaknesses, day in and day out, and maybe you get 1% better. But what are you good at? And can you get even better at that? If you focus on that, you'll probably get 20% better on your strength. And that would probably have more of an impact on whatever you're doing versus that tiny little 1% on a weakness. And so I really work on that philosophy where I don't focus. I'm not good at everything, and none of us will be. Systems, I suck at them. I know it, and I'm okay with it. I do what I do well. And I mean, I did $20 million in business last year in a market I know no one. I'm okay with that. I mean, I made more money than I've ever made in my life. I'm okay with that. So that's my answer. And I'm sorry. I don't like systems. I don't know how to work them. And so I don't. So
Listen, if you can do 20 million without systems, God bless you. No judgment from me. That's impressive. While I've got you, Suzanne, I want to get into motivation and goals. I think this is a good little segue. So what is your why? Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning when you just don't feel like it?
you're asking me this question again, right?
Yeah, I'm going right back to you. Yeah, I'm gonna double down.
Okay. So again, I think it's so important to know yourself. I have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. However, I'm really good at like sales. And I'm not a salesperson. I'm just using the word sales because it's just the word that we're in. But I'm really great at getting people to decide on what they want. And fortunately, I found real estate where it pays me really well. If I'm being 100% honest, I want to make a ton of money really fast. I don't like the slow route. I know one speed and it's fast. I mean, last year, and I don't, can I say how much money I made on here? Is that like allowed?
Yeah, it's your world. Nobody's
Okay.
judging.
So, I mean, I made 300,000 last year. That is the most I come from really poor beginnings, guys. I mean, my parents lost their house not once, but twice. And, you know, we were on government, you know, food and all that stuff. So, I mean, I have no inheritance. My parents won't leave me a darn thing. And I'm okay with that. So I've always known I'm going to have to build it for myself. And I mean, I made $300,000 last year. I was able to buy a second home so that my daughter can vacation right next to her cousins in Nebraska. And I just want to make about $1 million in the next 2 years. And then I'll decide if I want to still sell real estate. And that's kind of my why is like, I just want to like stack some cash, know that it's in the, you know, it's in the bank and I don't want to work anymore. I want to enjoy life with my daughter and hopefully we'll have more kids. And I contributed to our family. So I'm done. That's my goal. So that's my why. I just want to get it over with.
That's actually a really good goal because it has an end, right? It's manageable, it's trackable. Phil, you want to jump in with that?
Well, let me say this. My husband, though, sees how much money I'm making, and he's like, can you give me 3 years, maybe 4? And I'm like, no, we're going to do 2 and I'm done. I'm out. So let's just hurry up and make $1 million that we can put in. I mean, my husband makes good money as a firefighter. Like, I don't need to work. So everything that I make is extra. So it's like, okay, if I can just go hard, we'll have $1 million in the bank in addition to his income that he brings in. I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not greedy. I don't money. I've never been, you know, I'm not a materialistic person. There's nothing in this world that I'm lacking other than more time with my family. That's the only thing that I want right now. And so I just want to get it over with.
It's a great motivator. Phil, what about you? Motivation and goals. What gets you out of bed in the morning?
I'd have to say my family, my kids, my wife. But we chose to live in this part of the world because, well, selfishly, I was big into snowboarding, which I still am. It's a big passion of mine. And living in the mountains, we're able to live in the mountains. And as Susan's just confirmed, you know, earn a really great income. The initial reason I got into real estate because our restaurant business wasn't doing so good. But ironically, once I'd kind of started getting into real estate, we put the systems in place. The restaurant did amazing, and we sold it a couple of years ago. But yeah, I mean, I live a very, you know, like I said, I did 43 deals. I can comfortably do that. The income we got from it's great. We have a fantastic lifestyle. Like Suzanne, we've just we're building a lake house close to us, which you know, we might move to full time in the next few years. So yeah, real estate's been good to us, and my biggest motivation is my 3 kids, my 3 daughters. One's in university, 2 are getting close to going. So it's ensuring, you know, they get the best start in life, and that's what gets me up in the morning.
So awesome. I love this career because anybody can do this with effort and guidance, right? John, talk a little bit. You've been doing this. I always wonder this. So you've been doing this 18 years. You've probably financially, you're in a good spot. What keeps you going? What keeps you motivated?
For me, it's I have two kids. I have a six. He's 17 and 15-year-old, and that's always been my why. And my wife, of course, my family has always been my why. And for me, it's just setting myself and my kids up as well. I have 9 rental properties, and for me, that's part of building generational wealth that my kids will have. Sure, they're making money for me now, but long term, it's going to be theirs. So continuing to do this to keep building that up and get ourselves to the point where we can financially survive. And to be honest, I love doing this. I don't plan to stop. I don't plan to retire. I really don't. We have a house down in Ocean City, which is the beach here in Maryland, and our plan is once the kids are gone, that we'll go down there and I'll sell 4 to 6 houses a year. It's fun doing it. I love what I do. I love teaching people about buying homes and getting them through the process. And I think if I stop doing that, I'll drop dead in my deck chair 6 months after. So there's no reason to stop doing it to a fun level, not the nose to the grindstone level. So I just realized I was in IT for 20 years before I got into this. And while I was in this, the dual career thing, and I loved IT, but this has really been my passion to help people. So I love, it's annoying, it's a job, but I love doing it every day. And that's what you have to, the people who really excel at this, I feel like the ones who overall love doing it. In general, obviously, people can succeed without that, but it helps.
It makes it a lot easier when you enjoy helping people and it doesn't feel like, digging ditches. Okay, I think we're getting to the end. I'm not 100% confirmed, but I'm like 99%. So I'm going to ask one more question for everybody that we can end on, because my goal is that everybody walks out of here with something of benefit. I think we've done a good job, so thank you guys. If you had to give a new agent or an agent that just hasn't found their footing yet, what would you suggest they do right now that can get them a deal in the next 2 or 3 months? John, start with you.
Every new person should be doing an open house every weekend. My opinion, again, just my opinion. If you don't have a listing, that's fine. There are plenty of agents, and I would tell my agents there are. I think at one point every month I'm like, there are 375 active EXP listings in Maryland right now. Any one of those agents are more than likely to be happy to have you do an open house. And if you do an open house every other week, that's 26 open houses. If you get 1 deal out of 4, if you get 1 client out of every 4 of those, that's 6. So if you have a goal to do 12 to 15 deals, you just got half your deals, and you're going to meet a lot of people and create a lot of relationships. So that's probably one thing that's more immediate versus the long term is building relationships with your clients, but immediate would be to do open houses.
Great advice. What about you, Phil? What would you suggest somebody do right now to get a deal in the next 60 to 90 days max?
What would I suggest? Okay, open up the CRM, which we all have, which is your phone, and call every single person in that phone and tell them you're in real estate with a passion. Tell them how you can help them, how that you can give value to whatever they're thinking about doing, or if they're not doing anything, someone they might know. So that's number one, what I'd do. And then the next thing, I would tell them to go and get some affordable coaching, because there is some amazing sort of programs for new age, or even getting, there's so much stuff going on in the university, and just learn as much as you can. But yeah, get on that phone as soon as you get your license and make those calls.
I love that. I always tell people there's deals in your phone right now. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Suzanne, we're going to end with you. What would you suggest? I know you talked about pay at closing lead services. What would you do right now if you're brand new? I don't know what the hell to do.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm going to go back. You got to know yourself, know what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. But again, I'm going to go back to the whole mentality and faith. You gotta believe that whatever you're going to do, the work you're going to put in, that you're going to yield some results. And I think, again, understanding that we are in a numbers business. and knowing that every single one of us has to go through the numbers. Now, obviously, as you get better and as you build more relationships, maybe that ratio gets a little bit better for you, but none of us are exempt from losing a deal, from somebody picking somebody else to work with. It happens, and it's just part of the business. So I think finding what was going to work for you. Open houses are fantastic. Calling everybody on your phone is fantastic. The pay at closing is fantastic. I still stand by how I got started. I would do it again if I was a new agent, because honestly, I don't want to be on the phone all the time. I'm at home with my daughter. I don't want to be on the phone longer than I have to. So I love getting a text message like I just got that a new buyer wants to see a house. So that was my prospecting for the day. That's just how I choose to do my business, but it works. So I would say pick a lane and just go hard in whatever lane you're going to pick.
That's awesome advice. Guys, thank you so much.
Can I add one thing?
Yeah, please.
Can I add one thing? Sorry, I've been on. I apologize.
I'm sorry, Brant. I didn't see you, man. I didn't know where.
It's all right. Sorry, I had some issues and got pulled to a closing and dropping a kid off and all this kind of stuff. My quick response on that one: real estate investors. We have agents coming on to our team that no experience whatsoever, and if they have a traditional buyer or seller, that's probably a one-off transaction. We have real estate investors, buying 5, 10, 15, 20 properties a year. So I would encourage new agents, go to networking events, meetings, conferences, whatever. And if you can just find one solid investor, you're going to be good. I remember when I wasn't licensed, I bought over 30 properties from one agent in a period of about 5 years. So that would be my encouragement. Work your retail stuff, but have a few investors in your back pocket. It's just the easiest way, and there's no cost of marketing, to do that.
We just gave you 4 things you can do right now to get a deal. So I hope everybody puts that into practice. Thank you guys so much. Panel was awesome. Hopefully we got some nuggets out there, and these are always beneficial. So I appreciate everybody taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining today. You guys are great. TJ, you're